The main reason most people don't make it past one or two vehicles on Turo and get a fleet of over 55 like we have here is not because of investors or needing more loans. It's because they aren't following the right system. And in this video, we're going to break down how I went from 0 to over 55 vehicles without any outside investors or rich family. So let's get into how I built this Turo fleet empire. So guys, when we work with people at Car Rental Coach, the number one issue that we constantly see between those that are extremely profitable and those who are losing money is financing poorly. So we have people come to us when they're overpaying for expensive cars and their payments are just way too high. They took on way too much overhead to the point where it's never going to cash flow. And they're doing this with brand new cars that are depreciating rapidly. So just to give you one example, so we had one client come to us. They were financing a Cadillac Escalade. This was a 2023. They bought the vehicle completely brand new, and they were paying about $1,500 a month for this car. That was luckily enough to cash flow $2,000 in a given month. And then when they talk about depreciation, repairs, insurance, and all the other costs, it didn't make any sense. So we got them out of that immediately. But that's where I want to talk to you guys about using leverage properly and how to scale from 0 to over 50 without taking outside investors or unfavorable debt. So when I started over 5 years ago, I started my business with $10,000 in cash I had saved. So guys, I do typically recommend that if you get into the car rental business, you should have at least $5,000 to your name. This isn't a business that you want to go completely leveraged out from the very first car. Having $5,000 though, I think puts you in a position where you're comfortable enough to put at least a nice down payment on a car or to buy a car completely cash for the $5,000. But anyways, I started with $10,000 and I bought 2 economy cars. And the first 2 economy cars I got, you're thinking, well, like how could he get cars that cheap and put them on Turo, right? Because they have to be 12 years or newer and under 130,000 miles. Well, these vehicles were actually on a platform called Hire Car when that was still around. And there's competitors and other ones that have come out since that are similar, but Hire Car was where you could put on it 2005 or newer in my state. And I don't even know if there was a mile requirement. It's been some time, but basically these cars were pretty much as cheap as a vehicle can be. So take these 2 cars, I spend my $10,000, get them both on the road. The one makes me over $1,200 in the first month without problems. The other one overheats on its very first trip because I didn't get it checked out properly, and there ended up being a coolant problem, and I ended up having to get the car towed, refund the customer, and then overall I think I was out $400 on that trip. And then with some other repairs and costs, I barely broke even on my first month doing the rental business. And my wife and I talked about it, and she said, you know, I just don't know if this makes sense, like putting cars like this on the road and renting them. I don't see a way we're going to make money doing this. And I said, you know what, I think we're just rushing into it. We don't have the right knowledge when it comes to the business. So that's when I actually paid somebody for mentorship and then learned from them on how to set things up properly and how to do the due diligence on the vehicles, how to get the right Carfax reports, how to take it to a mechanic to get a pre or post inspection done on it, looking at what the requirements are for Turo, checking out the reliability of other vehicles. And anyways, those are all things I learned through mentorship and then also being in the industry now for over 4 years. So that's what we do for people that work with us too, one-on-one. And if you're somebody that sounds like that would be beneficial to, you can go to carrentalcoach.com, fill out our quick 60-second survey. And if you're one of the people that qualify to work with us, you can actually work with us one-on-one and we'll help you scale or start your car rental business. But back to the scaling of the business. So now we have these 2 vehicles, and I'm not paying myself anything, to be completely transparent at this point. But business was not cash flowing nearly enough. I was just wanting to stack more and more reserves. So then, after about a few other months, because of the money that I had from the cars that were being generated, remember they were paid off, so everything they were making was pretty much profit besides insurance. And then I also had another income stream. I was able to then purchase another 3 vehicles, bringing me up to 5 cars. That's when a company called Get Around was really expanding into a Pittsburgh market and a few other markets around the area. So they had a promotion that I have not seen anyone beat since, where if you put cars in certain zip codes, they would give you a $1,000 to $2,000 bonus per vehicle in the zip code, plus guaranteed earnings where they would pay you $1,200 a month minimum, even if your car wasn't rented for 3 full months. So at that point, I said, all right, let's knock off the hire car thing. Let's use them on there. Let's get the get around bonuses, because I was selected because we had the largest hire car fleet in Pittsburgh, which didn't really mean much because we only had 5 cars and there was only one other person on the platform. So it was being the big fish in a small pond, but still we were approached by them. I found the 3 different zip codes, which were all, of course, different areas of Pittsburgh that were hard to get to, that sometimes could take 30 minutes in between each location because of traffic and just other headaches with how the city's designed. And I put the cars there. We were monitoring them. And what was nice about Get Around, you didn't have to check the cars out every 24 hours like Turo, but you did have to check them out once a week. And you still wanted to check them out in between trips, because if somebody's bringing the car back, then you want to make sure it's clean for the next guest. Anyways, collected my bonuses for putting all the cars there, was able to stack up another $15,000 by the end of the summer, and remember, wasn't paying myself again. Bought more vehicles, got my fleet, I'd say about a year after that, you see around 15, put them all on Turo, and then finally put them in this lot you see, and I started renting this location out because it finally made sense to do something. And I'll tell you what, it made my life so much easier, because I truly would not have wanted to expand the business if I was doing Get Around at 3 different parking lots, driving to each one every single day. Because when you're creating a business, you want to make sure you're also creating a life you want. So that's why we always build systems out when people work with us at Car Rent a Coach the same way we do, because you want your money to work smart for you. You don't want to have to work hard. But anyways, you can see this is our one now. Got a very, very good deal on it, where it really comes to barely anything when you look at it. So the vehicle costs, and the cars are always rented too. So that's a pretty big thing. So all the cars you're seeing right now are just back to get detailed in between trips. We had some pile up from over the weekend. We'll get these all out, and you'll see that all these cars will be going again here short. But having them at this one location made it easy to manage, because now we have our employee come in. He's able to detail everything here. We're able to set our shop up. We're not always on the road trying to drive these cars to car washes. We have everything we need here now, and we don't do any delivery, because guys, you'll see that once you have over 10 cars, the airport's almost out of question unless you're willing to hire a full-time employee to do that for you. And usually the math doesn't make sense. If the math doesn't math, then don't do it, okay? And I'm a finance major, so I could say that confidently. But guys, like I said, keep all the vehicles in one location. We want to make this as easy as possible. And then from there, this is where the growth really started happening. So from the beginning of the business, I set up an LLC to own these vehicles with, which is major, because during these 2 years, I was building up my business credit, which is major, guys. And business credit is the key to really having the leverage at favorable interest rates to take this to a whole new level. Because if you're not sitting on a large amount of money, you only have one other option. It's to borrow it, and you don't want to borrow it by financing cars through the dealership. You want to get outside business funding after you have the 2 years in business. Sometimes you can even do it after 1 year, but to take the serious money, it's usually 2. But at that point, I took out some business credit cards, and business credit cards can sometimes give you a higher line. So I took out an additional $40,000, put it all on credit cards through a dealership, because some will actually allow you to buy a car completely on credit. Others, you will have to find a way to take a cash advance on the card. Anyways, bought more cars for the credit cards, paid those off in an additional year. And then from there, I was finally able to get access to a large amount of money, where I was able to take out an SBA loan for over $130,000 at only around $1,000 a month, buy 13 more cars, put those into the fleet, finally start paying myself pretty well. We're able to pay ourselves very well here, because we do over 6 figures in profit here. Not just revenue, guys. We do 6 figures in profit with our business that we're actually paying ourselves. From there, it's just been compounding ever since. So we are constantly booking, buying more cars. I'd say the only thing that we've had a problem with when it comes to scaling is cars being in accidents and getting totaled. So then instead of getting another car and adding it to the fleet, we're just replacing it. But we do very, very well when it comes to the insurance claims, guys. So when people are totaling these cars, usually we're able to get paid even more. We just had a client whose car was totaled. Turo offered them only $5,000 for it. After my team and I looked at the case, we wrote something up. We were able to get them $11,000 for the insurance money. And I love seeing that more than anything when people win. And I love to beat the insurance companies, and would love to help you beat them too, because that is a whole nother revenue stream, and one of the things that people are scared of the most with Turo. But I actually look forward to it and enjoy it, because I never lose an insurance claim, and we win every single time, guys. But that is my story on how I scaled from over 0 to over 50 vehicles. And obviously, there's a lot more details in between. And if you guys ever want like to really dig deep into this, you can always book a call with us at carrentalcoach.com, and I'll give you my exact formula when you work with our team and me one-on-one. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next round.